Hello and welcome to the 7th character journal of the Tainted Lands, Mr. Mournton. For those of you who've been following, my name is Lewis and I play as Wallace MacDonald, who is a hill dwarf cleric of the Trickery domain. When we last left off, we ran away from the Eyeless, making our way to the Mournton Manor. And after some altercations, we found ourselves inside the manor, speaking to Lady Emily Mournton, the wife of the Lady of Mournton. I'd requested an audience of her after saving her life. However, before I had the chance to speak to her, these attacks happened from these eyeless things. We had witnessed magic, strange magics, over the past few days, from the stone to Circe being dominated. When we got there, the midwife, Signy, blamed us for essentially bringing this upon the town, purposefully. This riled me up quite a bit, as I don't take false accusations very well. Myself and Circe fought in our corner as we had 7 guards pointing halberds at us. We were given a chance to speak. I reiterated the fact that I saved the lady's life and requested to speak to her about this. We spoke about the fact that we did not know what this stone was, and we actually took it to Signy to be identified, and upon its identification it was immediately destroyed. After Circe said his part, they seemed to believe us. Well, at least they seemed to believe that we didn't intentionally bring this upon the town and that we were there to help. We discovered that the Night of the Willows was in another place, another nearby town. I can't remember the name, something bridge. Never passed through that part. I came from the opposite direction, from Ironholm. Her and her advisor and some knights had left the night of the attack, which did raise suspicion to me, not in the sense that the lady planned this, but perhaps, given that there is some disloyalty amongst the guards, that perhaps this was premeditated. But again, only a theory, and Emily Mournton did not take that suggestion very lightly, assuming that we were speaking about our wife, which of course we weren't. We had our own suspicions. They refused to open the gates. They told us that there was a prison, not in use anymore, underneath Mournton Manor, and that would lead out to the woods at the back of Mournton. Of course, we agreed if they have civilians to look after, and that is understandable. However, she wanted us to leave someone with her, a reassurance that we wouldn't leave or do anything. We drew straws, and it was Ginny who drew the shortest straw and agreed to stay. She was to be treated as a guest, and no harm would come to her. Emily Mournton was just concerned that upon Lady Deirdre's return to Mournton, she would be concerned if she had let us all go. So with that, and we got some supplies. We were provided with some rations and Wynne was provided with some armour, and we decided to head into this prison. In the same sort of room, we saw a sort of stone landing and these large double doors. And upon attempting to open it, myself and Sir Kay pushed the door open and we found that it was trapped, which was not great. Cut me up pretty bad, to be honest. I was surprised that we weren't tipped off about this. It was rather strange to me that they failed to mention that. But nonetheless, we now found ourselves in the prison, and this horrible, caustic smell of mould, and mould was growing in several parts of this. And I don't know how long this prison has been abandoned for, but you could tell it had been a while. We'd done some exploring, and we saw a room straight ahead of us. Following where this mould was, sort of greyish liquid. Like, strange. Toby kept some of it in a small vial. He's curious about things like that. I would rather stay clear. However, we did see a chest which we found rather peculiar. It was underneath a table in the room ahead of us. It was a room with tables and chairs and whatnot in it. And upon my investigation of the chair, this grey, caustic liquid formed into a being that attacked me. I was startled, to say the least. This is a strange place. The past few days I have seen horrible things. The stuff of nightmares. The stuff that my wet nurse would tell me about. My friends managed to deal with the grey puddle before any real damage could have befallen me. And so we continued through another room, and there was one path leading off, and we could feel a draft. And on the wall, strange writing in chalk. There was other doors that were banded with iron that were shut. And the writing on the wall says, "The old man lies." Never heard of a saying such as this. Don't know who would have wrote it. Perhaps the final words of a madman. Perhaps something more. I wanted to explore, to find out. It's in my nature to be curious about things, to want to investigate things, but we were pressed for time, and the rest of the party weren't as keen on exploring this prison, especially after our confrontation with a puddle, a sentient puddle that attacked me, which I understood. And so we walked maybe around 200 feet through this path where the draft is coming from, the draft getting closer and closer. And again, this pulsing light, this pulsing energy we could see. We've seen this a few times before. I just remember hearing the squeaking, and black rats, white rats, brown rats, just in a swarm, in a mass, almost as if it was one body. My father always said to me, "Wallace, what is the bigger number, 5 or 1? One. When you get a group of people who fight for one purpose or one cause. It's more powerful than 5 individuals. And these rats worked almost like a pack. And I think that the same thing that happened to Sir Kay in the fires happened to me as I was rendered completely still. And then I just saw this look in Wyn's eyes. Normally when I look at Wyn's eyes, I see peace, tranquility, just not an aggressive demeanour about her. But I saw something different. She came at me with her scimitar, cutting into my shoulder. I felt paralysed. The pain, strange sensation. I almost didn't feel. I mean, I've taken sword hits before, I've been in my share of battles, as you can see from this scar and the burns on the side of my face. Almost tickled, in a sense. The warm blood on my cold skin, a strange feeling. The pain started to set in, of course, when I realised that I could move, perhaps 20 seconds later, not if that. And something in the back of my head snapped. Sir Kay and Toby were more on the retreat. Sir Kay threw a torch actually to try and burn the swarm. I all but seemed to ignore it when I started to move again. And I cast my guiding bolt. And I just saw Wyn's eyes turn to a death stare. In all honesty, I thought I had killed her for a split second. Now I realise before I didn't really know what to think about Sir Kay being mind controlled. I possess that sort of magic myself. But if there's creatures amongst these eyeless things capable of doing that, if it was Lessic, and Lessic can do that, we're in a lot of trouble. I wish that we were given more men. Now we're a party member down and dealing with what seems to be the impossible. Sir Kay rushed over to Wyn and stabilised her and brought her back. And even though that deep down I kind of know that it wasn't really Wyn, I still struggle to forgive that. Starting from here, going down over my clavicle and into my chest, the wind cut me pretty deep. We ran over our heads. I felt a lot of sympathy for the people here, and I wanted to do my best to help. We didn't feel right going after Ragnar without knowing that these people are safe, and I don't know why I feel compelled to do that. And I never used to think like that. I never used to put others before myself. I've always done things on my terms. Life has always been on my terms. And things are changing. Times are changing. It is the year of the Raven. Some would say, some beliefs Ravens are linked with death. There's a small contingent at the monastery I used to work at, the Order of the White Moth, who believe that the raven is the embodiment of the All-Father. I've been through more in the past few days than I have for most of my life. Rats that can dominate your mind. It's crazy stuff. I was a bit blunt when I regret that. I have a lot to say to them. We can't afford to be reckless and make mistakes. If one of us is dominated fighting Lessic, or if multiple members of our party are dominated when we're fighting Lessic, we might be joining this eyeless army, and I like my eyes. I like living. Death is so boring. I intend to die on my own terms. An old man in my bed. As we left the prison, we came out to what seemed to be a grove of some sorts, with an executioner's block and a bloodied axe, and freshly dug graves. Concerning, considering this prison has been not in use. God only knows what horrible magics have taken place here, and this is something that I think that we will investigate when we pick up next. Thank you for listening to the seventh character journal of the Tainted Lands, Mr. Mournton. We stream on Mondays at 8 PM Eastern Time on Twitch at the Tainted Lands for our Twitch channel. Hope to see you in chat again on Monday. If you listen to this, then thank you, and hopefully see you Monday.